Night Gallery was a very interesting series because not too often do we give away the plot of an episode in the title of the episode, but in this case it kind of put it together. We're going to talk today about an episode which I consider on multiple viewing gets better, but at the time it was kind of heavy-handed, but has aged better. A lot of people give it credit for. Of course, it's something called A Fear of Spiders. Now, A Fear of Spiders continues to be one of the most discussed episodes in Night Gallery history, because we don't know if one of the main characters is actually calls on the spider, is the spider of the episode itself. Now, this was episode 4, part of episode 4, which went October 6, 1971. Now, the teleplay was by Rod Serling, with the story by Elizabeth Walter. Now, the great actor-director John Asson helmed it, with Patrick O'Neill as the lead justice, Kim Stanley, the stage veteran, as the femme fatale Elizabeth Croft, and in a humorous character role, Tom Petty, P-E-D-I, not Petty, as the Super Mr. Boucher. Now, according to David Jewell WordPress, which we've been quoting from, very good archive on his take on Night Gallery episodes, Patrick O'Neill worked together in a fine adapted script by Serling and last-minute replacement for the episode as director John Asson. Now, this kicked off season's 2 4th ep. Now, O'Neill plays Justice, a food critic, trying to finish some articles before deadline. He gets a phone call from his upstairs neighbor, Elizabeth Croft, to whom he shouts, "Leave me in peace." So, the way the episode goes forward, we don't know if they've had canoodle before had sex. That's the heavy-handedness. I think he kind of played the user for sex, and Stanley feels slighted, and you see in the episode there's sort of that give and take, that broken romance motif. Now, undeterred by the go-aways, she comes down and rings his doorbell. They've had a few dinner dates, but he's no longer interested. He dismisses her, even more rudely and cruelly than on the phone, slamming the door on her. From outside the door, she says she prays that someday he'll be helpless and need someone. Now, according to Scott Skelton's book in the Night Gallery, or a co-author a few years ago, Stanley was dressed a little bit like a spider, and being a little bit overweight, which a spider on a glance, they're bigger in the belly. There's some speculation that it made some people think that she was a spider of the piece. Again, that's to be determined by the viewer. To me, it was what it was, that a woman who felt scorned, who had a lot of body issues, but was her own strong character. Now, when she eventually trips, when she falls on her way up the stairs, he opens the door, and to her request for help, he smirks and slams the door once more. And according to Jewel, he's not the world's nicest guy. Now, back inside his apartment, he goes into the kitchen and sees a fairly large spider in the sink. Because he's deathly afraid of spiders, he flushes it down, but we can see a crack in his tough guy demeanor as the presence of the spider has shaken him. Now, going back to his work, he hears a drip, returns to the kitchen, and sees the spider crawling out of the drain, this one larger than the one previously seen. He flushes this one down as well, after some battling by the spider at the edge of the drain. Now, he calls on the building super, responding to Justice's previous call about the thermostat, and of course Petty plays this as a stereotypical blue-collar D's, them, and those kind of guy, but it works. For what it is, it's a bit of comic relief, but not necessary, and somewhat temporarily breaks the building mood of fear. Now, Jewel makes a point, but for me it kind of shows the absurdity of the situation. If he's not concerned, what's going on with the writer's head? Now, when the super leaves and he's unable to secure continued protection from the man, Justice then is startled by a screeching noise coming from the bedroom. He opens the door and looks in, and we see a quick glimpse of a comically gigantic spider in his bed. I think it's maybe about 10 feet by 8. This takes us right out of things, and one can't help but laugh. However, for the main character, it's confirmation of his deathly fear. He eventually runs to the super, who has no address, investigating a spider the size of a dog, as described by Justice. And so the critic swallows his pride and seeks out the only person interested in his welfare, which is Elizabeth, one floor up. Now, has a couple of drinks, and with Elizabeth, and confesses to her too his fear of spiders. She laughs when she hears the description of what's in his bedroom. She's read many books and has never found a description of so large a spider anywhere in literature. He wants to call the police, and she says she's going to call the crazy farm. Now, so finishing his brandy, she asks him to leave, and he practically begs her to accompany him. They enter the apartment, she first, and there's no spiders. He asks her to check his bedroom. She looks in and says it's empty. She leads him by the hand to his room, pulls the door shut, and locks him in. It's not clear whether or not she saw the giant spider. She eventually laughs. He panics. She tells him women need a little kindness, a little love, and she'll let him out at breakfast. She eventually, her squeaking, becomes hysterical, shouting, "It's in here!" And outside his door, Elizabeth looks nonplussed. We then hear a thud against the door, and our play is at the end, and it's a frightening end, according to Jewel, to a fine segment. Now, you watch the full episode. There's many hints on what the spider could be. Could it be really real? Could it be in his mind? Or could it be her projecting herself behind the door, or calling on a spider? Either way, we have somebody who's very hateful towards a woman that's annoying, yes, but there's no reason to be hateful to an annoying woman. Just got to be firm. And the fact was, if he used her for sex or what they call accompaniment, maybe he deserves what he's going to get. But some people don't like the size of the spider. I think it's totally in context. But there's sort of inside information. The spiders that were used were, I guess, very tame. But all I know, ladies and gentlemen, you have to consider this. It hasn't aged well, and I tell you why. Not because it's not a good episode, but in 2022, we have much more to fear in the world with COVID and everything else than large spiders. I've been a big fan of spiders all my life. I've touched tarantulas. I've made sure to have spiders around my house. I don't kill them because they're good at eating up bugs, and I like spider webs. I always have. I'm a big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man. But it shows. I think how the play works is because every person who's a confirmed asshole has something that can really get to them. Like if it's a bully at school that's scared of blood, or a bad teacher that she freaks out because she doesn't like. I had a student in grade school. His teacher didn't like the sight of a rotting apple, so he deliberately rotted an apple at home and put it on her desk. And when she came in the morning, she totally freaked out. So it's all in perspective, but it just shows how concentrated evil or concentrated negativity can work in someone's mind, in someone's inner mind, and takes a real situation, makes it unreal. But again, not to say spiders have been a motif in Gothic horror, but this is not the first spider-related fictional Gothic story that's ever been written. But all I know, Patrick O'Neill, very underrated actor, and Kim Stanley has been a legend of the stage for a lot of years. And it works because it's Kim Stanley. If it wasn't Kim Stanley doing it, because it would take a Kim Stanley type performance, because she had a certain way of acting that was very her, as we like to say. So ladies and gentlemen, that's another Great Night Gallery, directed by John Astin, who always does a great job. Sean Astin's father, of course, Betty Duke's ex-husband. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, if you see a spider, spiders are, if it's not poisonous, it's a friend of yours. Because it's going to take away other things that are going to scare you. But I mean, when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, everybody got a fear. But don't ever think that karma will come back literally and scare you or bite you. It's the way it goes. Thanks for listening. Bye.